Righty, welcome to this second session in our strength endurance build. So we'll get walking, shall we? And we can talk and walk. So, hopefully you kind of get the structure. After the first session, 10 minutes, we're just going to slowly build up, then we'll pause for about 3 or 4 minutes to do some dynamic stretches. The dynamic stretch is going to be the same as last time, and all through this series they'll be the same each time, just those guys that are listening to this to keep it nice and simple for them. Okay, then we'll do a few minutes running, and then we'll get into the main set. In this session we're focusing on some VO2 max bursts. So I kind of described what I mean by strength endurance type running, and today is very much kind of like the perfect example of that. So we're going to have pretty much a steady baseline, zone 2 baseline all the way through the session. So it's going to be sort of just over 40 minutes of pretty much continuous running, and then we'll be throwing in these VO2 bursts. And the VO2 max efforts are an area where we're going to be kind of really focusing in this sort of off season, this autumn and winter period. Similar to those of our cyclists and triathletes, we really want to kind of improve that top end running power. So we'll be using VO2 max efforts, and we're using hill reps, the odd sprint in there, but VO2 max efforts, it's a 9 out of 10 effort. Now, if you don't know, your VO2 max is basically kind of the maximum volume of oxygen that your body can utilize at any one point. It's a really big determinator in athletic performance. And we're just going to be conditioning that. Hopefully, your ultimate VO2 max is largely determined by genetics, but you can train it. You can improve your efficiency at using oxygen. Okay, so let's get jogging now, shall we? So we're just going to start a real kind of easy jog, like sort of 2 out of 10 territory. Okay, so really nice and easy, just starting to lift the knees, get the chin up, all the cues that I normally use to try and relax. So one thing I just want to talk about a little bit whilst we're getting going is kind of what is going to happen to your body over the course of this build period, and just with run training in general, really, because running is the area where we get the most injuries, and I think it's the most injury prone kind of the three sort of triathlon related sports. Any kind of regular runners probably have their share of injuries, but basically one of the key points is that you have to be really careful with how you ramp your running, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing a strength endurance build at this time of year, rather than just kind of keep doing tempo work that puts a lot of strain on your body. Because basically, guys, your muscles, or like there's some of the key adaptations in terms of your muscles, in terms of like your respiratory efficiency, your cardiovascular efficiency, increased capillarization, which I'll go into this stuff a little bit more in a second. But that stuff happens relatively rapidly. However, the thing that really takes its time is the development of your soft tissue, bone density, improving joint mobility, kind of like the architecture of your body, adapting that, improving it, maintaining it. That is where people come unstuck. And the most common, the really sort of common example is when people get into running, they just go out and run fast 5Ks. If you've not been running much, and then suddenly you're pounding the pavement at 5K pace, which we know is an 8 out of 10 effort, over the weeks, your lungs are going to get more efficient using oxygen, your muscles are going to develop, your cardiovascular system is going to develop, really nicely over those weeks, and you may well see improvements. But as I say, your soft tissue, your bone density is so much slower to develop, and that's where people get shin splints, they get stress fractures, patellar tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendinopathy, all of those pretty miserable injuries that stick around for way too long. Okay, so let's lift the effort a touch. Just going up to maybe like a 2.5 to 3 out of 10. Still with chin up, shoulders down, nice and relaxed. So what we're going to be trying to do with this strength endurance build is maintain a good level of base fitness and just kind of look at working like the top end, the power, the real strength element of running. And then once we've done, I think it's a 10-week series of these sessions, we'll then start to feed back in that sort of race type effort, the tempo running, you know, the longer steady state 5, 10, half marathon efforts. It's really what we want to do over this kind of off-season period, or at least the initial phase, is to really build that strength, that grit, that knee drive, you know, that out and out power, and then we can feed in kind of the longer steady state stuff. It's all about preparing your body for that. Well, in my opinion, the tempo stuff I find tough. So that sort of miserable, sort of hurt locker stuff. So these sessions are not really like that hurt locker stuff. It's more like short bursts where hopefully you're feeling great, feeling powerful, and we're just encouraging those muscles, we're encouraging your soft tissue, we're encouraging your bones to develop, to get stronger, so that when we really subject it to sustained efforts, they're in a little bit better position. Because over the course of this, even if you're a really experienced runner, this is important. So just going up to a 3, full on 3 now. So even if you're a really experienced runner, this kind of cycle is important, because you'll do all kinds of damage over the course of the season, pick up little injuries, little niggles. Hopefully you've had a nice off-season break. You know, we give our athletes a really solid break. Hopefully you recovered from all those little things, and now we want to start to encourage some development again. It is a long old season. You can't just hammer yourself 12 months of the year. You've got to take your foot off the gas, give your body time to evolve, and work on some other stuff. Okay, so a few seconds, then we're going to go out to full on cruising pace. So we're about 3 out of 10 at the moment. Now I'm going to go up to a 4. Okay, it's about 1 minute and 20 before we break for our dynamic stretches. Hopefully you're starting to feel a bit more awake, a little bit more loose, and the dynamic stretches are just going to aid with that. And then once we're back on the running, I'll just talk you quickly through the session. It's a very simple one, but effective. Right, last 40 seconds, let's just go down our body. And I really encourage you to do this periodically in your runs. Get your chin up, your shoulders down, relaxed, your hands nice and loose, you're driving your knees, tension out your jaw, relax your mouth, and just think about getting into a rhythm. The last 15 seconds, we pause. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's just pause there very briefly. Pause the workout, and we'll move. Whew. Need to tip myself down there. It's inevitable at some point that this treadmill. Okay, so just moving across. So, starting off with our calf raises with heel taps. So you're just gonna get up onto your toes, then bring your heels together, and start doing it in a more fluid manner. So 3 for me, 4, 5, 6, 7, right up onto your big toe, 8, 9, and 10. And just remember, guys, you can throw in your own dynamics. Just pause the session, do what you need to do for your own personal kind of maintenance. Okay, so don't feel rushed through this, take your time. Just gonna do some walking calf raises to go right up into the toes, rolling through the foot, right up into the toes. If you're unfortunate enough to get Achilles tendinopathy or plantar fasciitis on the regular, doing particularly on those heel raises with ankle taps, and then these walking calf raises, they're a really important way of kind of getting your mind kind of connecting with that big toe. Something I've said, I think the last time, I really struggle with it. So we're just gonna do a few more, and it's just poor mechanics basically for me, and it's just how it goes. Can't be good at everything. It would be nice to be good at something, but okay, standing windmill. So arms up, close to your head, twist towards one foot, keeping your legs straight, scooping in front of your toes, going up on the other side, back again, up to the start. Call that 2. Should feel this in your hamstrings. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, just shake the legs out a little bit, and then we're going to shake them out properly with some leg swings. Just check behind you, forward and back. It's very easy to do these lazy, so just make sure you're focused and you are just kicking a little bit higher with each one, and kicking back as well, just to open up the hip flexors. It's about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the other side. Yeah, these dynamic stretches, they should be conscious. On to the other side. That's about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think as with everything we do, we want to be conscious and then just understand why we're doing stuff. So right now we're doing leg swings across the body, up to the side, going a little bit further. This is just opening up your abductors and your adductors, the muscles around the outside of your hip and the inside of your leg. Just waking those up. They're really important for every time your foot lands. Moving on to the other side. Important for every time your foot lands. Basically, they keep your knee tracking straight. Common issue with like IT band syndrome and things like that. If people have underactive weak abductors or adductors. Okay, we're just going to go onto some high knees. So staying on your toes the entire time, really driving your knees upwards. 13, 18, and 20. You can also do some butt kicks if you want, but we're going to do some opening the gate on this one. I'm just going to roll onto the front of my foot and then draw the knee out. So rolling up onto the toes a little bit. Again, just trying to get that mind muscle connection going. So just opening gate out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the upper body, as I said last week, last session. Make sure you loosen off the upper body as well. You can do things like T rotations as well. Anything you want to do to just loosen off. Going backwards and across the chest. And then once we've done these, we're heading back onto the treadmill, or we're getting ready to run again, whatever your environment you're in. Okay, so let's head back and get going with the running again. So let's start the treadmill again. So we're just going to steadily build back up to a 4 out of 10. Okay, so take your time over it. Don't feel you need to get up to speed straight away. So, get running. Just building up through kind of those initial rate perceived exertion numbers. So up to a 1, up to a 2, then up to a 3, and then up to a 4 again. And hopefully you'll just immediately notice you maybe feel a little bit looser. Those dynamic stretches are also about kind of getting your coordination going again. So hopefully you're feeling that. I definitely feel that immediately. Just feel like my lower limbs are actually attached to my body now, which is a good feeling when you're running. Anyway, so this session. So we've got just over 2 minutes now before we get into it. It's very simple. We're just doing rounds of 3 30-second VO2 bursts. So you go and do 30 seconds at a 9 out of 10. Ease down to sort of a 3 out of 10. And then you go again. And we're doing 3 rounds of 3. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So 3, you're doing 30 seconds with a minute and a half, easy, times 3, a break, another set, a break, another set. Anyway, I've actually managed to complicate that. What is an incredibly simple session, hearing myself say it out loud, I've managed to make that complicated. So, sorry about that. But just follow me through it and all will be fine. We just got about a minute and 15 and we'll get into the first set. So remember, 9 out of 10, that's over 5k pace. We have very hard effort, but definitely at least a step back from a full-on sprint. I always, with these sets, I always like to play the first one a little bit conservatively to see how the body's feeling. So feel free to do that on the first 1 or 2. And just focus on driving your knees and keeping that chin up with all of the VO2 efforts. This is all about building power and strength. So run proud. Right, 15 seconds, then we're going to go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, here we go. Drive those knees. Twenty seconds left. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Easing down to about a 3 out of 10 effort. So a little bit lower than your proper kind of zone 2 pace. We're here for a minute and a half. Just about a minute and 10 now. So we've got 2 more rounds for VO2, and then we take a little longer break. So I've got cables coming out on my back. Right, 45 seconds of cruising, then we go up again. Just nice and easy. Turn your legs over. May not feel particularly difficult right now, but what's called strength endurance is because that final set is likely where you'll start to really feel it. Okay, 15 seconds. Then we go. 10. Nice and relaxed. Just try it along. 3, 2, 1. There we go. 9 out of 10 effort. Very hard, very strong pace. At least a step down from a sprint. You should be up. You should be really powering, driving those knees, feeling super strong. For another 10, 11 seconds, 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back down to 3. And guys, nice and easy. You also no doubt start to feel that the recovery periods seem shorter and shorter. That's what often happens in these types of sessions. You think, oh, actually, a minute and a half is tons of time. And then after a few reps, you're like, oh god, it no longer feels like 90 seconds. Definitely getting a sweat on now. 35. Nice and easy. But we go for the final VO2 effort in this set. "15 seconds of cruising." We go for the final time in the set. Seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, back up to a 9 out of 10. Let's go, guys. Drive those knees, keep the chin up. 20. Halfway. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we now got about 5 minutes in between. We're going down to a 3 out of 10 for a minute and a half. I'm just going to lift it slightly for the final 3.5 minutes of the recovery interval, just back up to a 4. So we're now just cruising at 3. So if you're looking at your pace, you should be below your typical kind of long run pace. The typical zone 2 pace should be lower than that. And watch your heart rate come down again. I think these efforts are also a good indication of how much lag there is in your heart rate. So, you know, doing an above threshold effort there, but my heart rate never actually got above what is notionally my threshold heart rate. We're not to about 130s. So it's just a good indication of why we don't train exactly the heart rate, particularly in interval sessions. Too much lag. That's why we try to use RPE. That's why we try to use pacing zones. Really, we want to be using all of them interchangeably, and different efforts lend themselves to using different metrics. So we want you to be flexible in that sense. Okay, so let's just go up to a 4 out of 10 now. Don't want to ease off too much. Done one set. We've got 2 sets to go, so you know what you're in for now. Just try and stay focused. Keep reminding yourself to relax. Probably get a bit irritating, all my cues about relaxing, lifting your chin, etc. I do apologise for that in advance. But the real goal is, like our cycling sessions, is just to instill good habits in you. And hopefully when you're out running, doing your own sessions, hopefully it's not my voice running through your head, but your own, but just reminding you, stay on top of this stuff. You'll just have a much nicer session. And these sessions are all about drilling in you how the different metrics relate, and hopefully make you really good at perceiving different pacings and what the effort should feel like. It's important in a race. Watch this break, stop working, don't get satellites, heart rate monitors fail. Sometimes you'll see it's not on a good day and your heart rate's through the roof, pacing is nowhere, and you're like, right, this doesn't feel like the effort I should be putting in. It just allows you to have a bit of a conversation with yourself, so you can have the best race in that scenario. And best race doesn't always mean time, but it's just about enjoying it. I think we always forget that. It's definitely something I've gotten better at as I've gotten older, is when I'm notionally having a shit race, I've been gotten better at, like, well, you know, I travelled here, made all the effort, trying to get my head up. I'm not going to do as well as I'd like. It's time to get my head up and try and enjoy it. Historically, something I've been awful at. Too focused, too driven, and forgotten to have fun at times. Right, so just coming up on a minute's go. One of my few regrets, I'd say, actually, in terms of like my training and racing. Too often forgotten to have fun. Anyway, a little bit too deep for this session. 45 to go. Then we're hitting the next VO2 effort. Number 30. Ten seconds, then we go. So get your mind switched on. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Round 1 of 3 for this set. Halfway. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Easy now. Back down to a 3. Super chill. And let's get that chin up. Particularly important during recovery intervals, not to restrict your airways in any way. Just keep your chin up. A little over 30 seconds before the next rep. Fancy? 10 seconds, then we go for round 2. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Up to a 9. Here we go. Round 2. Twenty. Halfway. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down to a 3. Well done, guys. One more effort in this round. So this session actually is a precursor to one we'll be doing in the next phase. So 10 sessions, so we've got about 20 weeks of the sessions. First phase was strength endurance, the second phase we're going to be focusing more on the tempo type stuff, but still a big focus on VO2 max. So this session actually a precursor to a really popular VO2 session, which is just 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Really popular VO2 session. And so we've got a little while before we do that. I think, at least. I can't remember. Okay, 18 seconds, then we go for round 3 of second set. 10, get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out we go. 9 out of 10 for the final time in this round. Twenty. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Down to a 3. You know your drill now? Minute and a half down at a 3, then we'll lift it again to a 4 out of 10. So it should be sub on a zone 2 pace for the next minute or so, then we'll go up to zone 2. Saw a post the other day, which is, I don't know why coaches feel the need to do this. They'll be like generally accepted like training theory. I just feel like to make themselves stand out, they have to go against the grain. I saw this coach who was pretty well established. I've never heard of him before, but yeah, really simple following, going on about how zone 2 is pointless for amateur runners, etc, etc, because you just don't have the time of a pro. It just totally misses the point. Like having a balance, sort of the majority of your running zone 2 with, sort of less than 20% of your running being high intensity, completely misses the point when you run against that whole theory 80-20, as we go up to a 4 now, isn't just about conditioning, about fitness. It's also about giving you in one piece, about achieving consistency. And if you're hammering yourself too much, picking up injuries left, right and centre, you can't achieve that consistency. The reason super elite athletes do so much base training is because, when you're training 20-30 hours a week, your body just can't do much more kind of intensity. And I just got very frustrated because this sort of stuff is incredibly misleading. They try and apply like a logical point. There was a certain amount of logic. but almost kind of contradicting himself in achieving it. Anyway, but just I think brings credence to why we're doing these strength endurance sessions. Big emphasis on the zone 2 low intensity running with a little burst, and I think you'll agree these are still pretty challenging sessions, even though we're not doing 3-5 minute VO2 efforts, because they come at such a cost, both mentally and physically. So anyway, just saw that yesterday. I like to whinge. So just under 2 minutes now of our zone 2 running. Probably maybe a little bit still. Just got one more set, 30-second efforts. Just on that article, reminds me of an article by a very well-known cycling coach, who said that amateur athletes should just be doing sweet spot training, not really anything else. I think he definitely harmed his reputation writing that article, as he, for about 30 years, has been a proponent of sort of 80-20 type training. Maybe, I have a feeling he didn't write it and someone wrote it for him. Anyway, right, last minute. Do you feel sometimes people just try to overcomplicate life, either for themselves or for everyone else? Okay, just about 30 seconds before we hit the first rep. Do it 4 out of 10. Nice and relaxed. Ten seconds, get ready. 9 out of 10 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Twenty. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down to a 3 for a minute and a half. That's 1 down, 2 more to go. Super chilled. 3 out of 10 effort. Last 60.
This shit hot.
Well done, guys. Penultimate rep coming up in just about 35 seconds. Still nice and relaxed. Chin is up, shoulders are down. May not be driving the knees super purposefully, but just make sure you're lifting the feet, not dragging them. Right, ready to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up we go. 9 out of 10, penultimate time. 20. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Penultimate rep. Done. One more. Well done, guys, just one more rep and then we're into the cool down. Well done, guys. Do your best, stay relaxed. Just keep the legs turning over. It's about this time you might start to get a bit of feet drag. Just try and pick your feet up. You'll be able to maintain a really easy pace while still keeping your feet lifted off the ground. 10 seconds, then final effort. Let's have a good one, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last rep. Come on, guys. Stay at a 9, don't sprint. Let's finish off strong now. Ten. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, down to 3 again. We're going to take our last minute and a half here. Then we're going to really ease down. Cool down. But all the hard work is done. Well done. Last minute. Then get easy into a walk. Try and keep those feet picking up. I say that because I just caught myself dragging my feet. Make sure you're having a nice stretch after these sessions, guys. Last 30. Then we're going to ease into a walk. Ten. 3, 2, 1. Okay, easing down now into a walk. Sorry for the bleeping. Something I wish I could change on this thing. There you go. Just easing into a walk now. Watch that heart rate drop. Remember, general rule, I try to wait until my heart rate drops below 100 before I completely stop. So just a quick little recap what it talks about in terms of the key things about remembering how your body evolves in terms of its reaction to your run training. Your muscles will develop very quickly, your heart will get stronger and more efficient. You get increased number of blood vessels meeting your muscles to feed them oxygen and glucose. You know, all of that improved mind-muscle connection, neuromuscular transmission, all those kind of really great things that happen when you get fitter, you get stronger, but it doesn't all happen at the same rate. Just remember your soft tissue, your bone density, etc., much slower to adapt We have to be cognizant of that. We have to be sympathetic to that. Otherwise, yeah, you can just kind of be your own worst enemy, really. So just try and remember that. Space out your runs. Be conservative with how we build over this off season, and also remembering when it's really cold, you know, that can impact your ability to get warm. It can impact your, you know, your flexibility, mobility, how quickly synovial fluid gets into your joints, things like that. You know, also in the winter, I find I get a really tight chest quite a lot. I often have to have you know, almost double the warm up sometimes, particularly if I'm running outside or cycling outside. I need a long warm up in the winter. I'm asthmatic, and so it just takes a lot longer for my lungs to get going, and I have to be really gentle with that. So, you know, if any of that kind of rings true, yeah, I guess it's all just about being a bit sympathetic to yourself, a bit kinder to yourself. There's no weakness in that. It means you get to be more consistent. So you see, my heart rate's just dropped below 100 now. So I'm nearly ready to get off. So we'll just walk for another 10 seconds or so. But there you go, guys. That's session 2. And I think that gives you a really clear idea as to what these sessions are going to be like. Not exactly like that each time, but just to give you a feel and kind of like what the vibe of these sessions is. So there you go, guys. Really well done. And I will see you next time.